Good afternoon, everyone. We are the University of Waterloo Enactus chapter, and today we'll be walking through what we've been able to achieve over the past year. So a brief agenda of what we'll be touching on today. We'll start off with an introduction of ourselves, our mission at Enactus Waterloo, and who we have here with us today. Then we'll be covering our flagship project called Link, which is focused on tackling issues on both a mental health perspective and a financial literacy one. And finally, we'll be looking ahead into our chapter's exciting plans moving forward. So to start off with a brief introduction, our mission at the University of Waterloo Enactus chapter is to leverage the talent and knowledge of our students to create a team that drives a positive impact in our community and the world. And beyond this, we're also just genuinely interested in sharing the idea of social entrepreneurship. So even if the student maybe doesn't end up being a part of the Enactus team, at least they'll have a bit more knowledge of what social entrepreneurship is, and they may take that and use that later in their future. So with us today presenting, we have myself, Tristan, and one of the co-presidents of our chapter, and alongside me, I have my other co-president, Sarah.
Great. So to start off, we can start with Link, which is one of our bigger projects this term. Our goal with Link is that it is a student-developed platform which addresses the need for community and social connectedness of university students with a particular focus on first-year students. We use Discord as our platform. We use Discord mainly because it's easy to organize, it's the most used and most popular within this demographic, and so it seemed like the best choice. It is essentially the hub of the Link community. It's where our members go when they want to ask questions, when they want to talk to each other, and when they want to connect not just with each other, but also with us, as in the Enactus team. Our goal with the platform on Discord is that we currently have a following of 100 students, but we do want to grow this to 500 by the 2022 Nationals. In terms of areas of focus when it comes to Link, we have two primary ones, the first being mental health and the second being financial literacy. So we can start off with a brief discussion on mental health in particular. When we look at the need for addressing mental health within university students, we found that 20% of Canadian post-secondary students are depressed, anxious, or they're battling some other mental health issue, which speaks to a general trend that this is obviously an area of concern that we wanted to do our best and do our part for. As a result, using the 5K funding we got from the cooperators as a grant in July 2020, we've been putting this towards different types of solutions to aid in the mental health of post-secondary students. 1,500 was used towards Headspace. Headspace is a platform for mental wellness that is focused on meditation and mental well-being. We secured 125 licenses for a 12-month subscription, and we were successful as all 125 licenses are currently being used by students. On top of that, we are sending surveys over this 12-month period to gauge how effective it is in actually resolving and aiding in mental health wellness for students. And based on that, we're going to gauge whether it's valuable and a good idea to partner with our university and see whether they can offer Headspace to students on a more broader level, or any type of solution they can provide. Another $250 was used towards a stress management webinar. At the stress management webinar, we talked about different ways students can effectively manage stress, as this is one of the greater contributors towards poorer mental health. And we scheduled this right before exams because we felt as though that was a good time to have this event. $2,000 was used towards additional resources, which includes mental wellness kits for when students are back in person, as well as access to other platforms such as Headspace. And we have saved we've saved $1,250 for future events, whether this is hosting keynote speakers, other mental health webinars, or similar events to the stress management webinar we've already held. In terms of impact, we've been able to impact 179 students, and we did this again through the Headspace subscriptions that we referred to earlier, the mental health webinar that we held, as well as our following on Discord.
So moving on to the issue in regards to financial health and why we saw that it was such an important piece for us to try and tackle is that up to 70% of students find day-to-day living costs and tuition fees to be a significant source of stress. And of course, that is a concern that all of us as students know too well. So in order to help provide a solution, we've set some time and effort into hosting workshops. So since March, 7 workshops have already been hosted, which cover a various number of topics within the financial literacy space, such as taxes, being a smart consumer, financial planning, borrowing. And in the future, we also plan to host workshops on investing and some other topics. However, we found that with a lot of the financial literacy projects we've seen, they tend to have a focus more solely on investing, primarily because that is a more exciting part to students, but we truly believe that it's important for everyone to get a holistic view of what is financial literacy in order for anyone to be truly financially literate. And in order to host and put on these workshops, we've partnered with different organizations. So one of them being the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education, whom we've hosted 2 workshops with, a local club here at UW, the UW FinTech Club, who we've hosted 1 event with and hope to host more with. And the biggest piece to this is Moneasy. So they are a student-led startup here at the University of Waterloo who are focused on providing another solution to the issue regarding financial literacy. And again, we found that it would be a great overlap with what we were trying to do with Link to have them join us and come aboard to help host some workshops. So they'll be leading a lot of the workshops moving forward, and they've set out a series already to cover the various topics. So starting off with the very, very basic of what is financial literacy so that people at least have an understanding of it. And then they'll go through the different topics such as saving, budgeting, planning, before finally getting into some workshops on investing. So the impact on the financial literacy side of Link has seen 153 students being directly impacted through the workshops. And of this group, 7 of them are small business owners, and 43 of them have directly told us that they have increased their net worth since attending those workshops, whether it be through tax savings or setting out a budget for themselves. And indirectly, we've impacted 343 students, with a lot of this extra portion coming from engagements and viewership of the financial literacy posts we have on our social medias.
Awesome. So in terms of looking ahead and our plans for the next year, we have 3 primary goals. So on a higher level, our 3 goals are that we want to launch our consulting arm, which is one of our current projects. We want to help one of our student startups under the consulting arm launch her first collection and become a for-profit startup. And we want to grow our Link community, which we will talk about in a second. In terms of a timeline for this, as mentioned earlier, our consulting arm is one of our projects. It is currently in its ideation phase. So by July 2021, we project that hopefully we will complete that. And by September 2021, we will officially launch that consulting arm. In terms of the Oddity Co., is one of the student startups that we've partnered with. They fall under our consulting arm, and they will be releasing their first collection hopefully by November 2021, which is very exciting. So we're very excited to help support her in doing that. By February of 2022, we hope to partner with at least 8 startups with our consulting arm. We currently have 2 that are confirmed and 2 that are in the works, and so hopefully growing that to almost doubling that number would be very interesting. And then hopefully by April 2022, increasing the link community to 500 students from the 100 we are currently at. So thank you so much for your time and for listening to our presentation. It's been a great year, and both of us are very proud of what Enactus Waterloo has been able to achieve this term and over the last year. But we do have big things in store and a lot planned. So we are very excited to talk about this hopefully next year at Nationals as well. Have a great rest of your days, and thank you for your time.